If this video is on your For You page, it's most likely because you're a professional Phasmo player and you're looking for ways to improve your gameplay. As a heads up, my equipment is mostly tier 2 and 3, so if you don't have that, that may be just a little inconsistent depending on what you're working with. For demonstration purposes, we're going to do this on Ridgeview Court, one of my favorite maps. So the thing I love about professional mode is how balanced it is comparatively to other modes. There is lots of time to set up and also an ample amount of time to get your side objectives done as well. Now for this run, we're going to be going for a perfect investigation. You don't have to do that. That is not a requirement to successfully beat a level, as you may know by now. But just so we are thorough with this one, we'll see what we can do. My starting goodie bag I always run with is going to be a thermometer, an EMF, and a crucifix. Don't forget a lighter, and then also slap on some headgear. You don't have to use it, but it's always nice to have that as an option. As we're walking up to the front door, my main tip for all players is that you want to get in and out of the house as fast as possible and get finding the ghost room right away. So to find the ghost room right away, I love to just hold down my right mouse button if you're a PC player, and that will constantly sense the current temperatures in the house. I do this as I'm trying to head over to the breaker locations. I know on Ridgeview it's either going to be garage, which it is not here, because now I have a sense of the average temperature when the breaker is turned off, which looks at around 9 degrees Celsius. Of course, it's going to be the last place that I check, but here it is, voila. So let's turn on the breaker. Now the great thing about what the breaker does is it will help the temperatures settle into their accurate readings. So you're going to see the temperatures start to slowly rise since there's now electricity flowing through the house. And if we see any special dip in, say, a range of 3 to 5 degrees, that's most likely our room. So notice how I'm not spending too much time anywhere in one room too long. I'm not really stalling out here and just like waiting. I'm kind of just bouncing around, moving through each zone, because this thermometer itself is pretty good at sensing difference right away. So see how we just got a big drop down from 10 to 5.8, and then if we dip into this room, we're back up to that average of 9, 10. So I already know that this is our room. Lucky for us, we get one of the largest rooms. This extends all the way down this hallway. Basically, picture this entire H shape here is part of this room that extends this way as well. So with my crucie in hand, I'm going to plop this down in a central location, one covering an exit area, so I know that the ghost can never spawn if I have to book it down the stairs for any reason. I'm going to turn on my EMF, drop that on the ground in the ghost room itself. See, now we're also getting breath, which is supportive of the fact that this is the ghost room. It is not necessarily freezing, but it means that you are in the right place. Let's hurry and head back to the truck now. Now on my second run, I usually like to bring things that help with side objectives and a combination of evidence finding passive equipment. So I'm going to grab a ghostwriting book, maybe something for a side objective like a firelight, and then I'm also going to grab another crucifix. Because we were dealt a room initially that is so large, that one tier 2 crucifix is not going to cut it to cover the entire area. So we need to now strategically place our defense so we don't have to worry about the ghost spawning on top of us ever or catching us off guard. This one covers that entire area, and then this one can kind of pick up the back without too much overlap, which is really nice, spread out like so. Put my book centrally as well. I'm gonna light the firelight centrally. You don't have to really worry about lights. I prefer to keep the lights off. It's a subjective matter in the sense that depending how fast, of course, you want your sanity drain to happen. Okay, so now I'm going to grab some salt. I'm gonna grab dots and also spirit box. A quick check on our sanity levels never hurts at this point after say your third run back. We're at 80. We're dropping, but not incredibly fast. We've also not seen the ghost yet, no ghost events, and no early hunts, which is a great sign. So already I'm going to be skeptical of early hunters like the Thay or an Onryo or say a demon. With my dots, I can again focus centrally on the room itself, maybe place it here so it's shooting down both sides of this hallway. which gives us a lot of coverage and opportunity to see the dots events. Now I'm going to go for Spirit Box here. I like to use the menu with the text option. Oh, and there we just saw dots in the corner of our eye while we were attempting Spirit Box. Let me mark that off in our journal before we forget. We got dots, and we're not getting Spirit Box for now, but we don't want to cross that off just yet. Always want to be a little bit patient. There's dots again happening. And since it happened with our bare eyes, and we didn't have to use just a screen to see it, which Goryo requires, you can cross out Goryo. We know that the ghost has been pathing through this on dots, so I'm going to place this in a 3 stack here. Feel free to spread it around if you want to maximize the chances of it walking through, but I'm pretty confident that this area is going to get hit right there, right as we said it. It did, confirming the fact that it is not a Wraith. Wraiths cannot walk through your salt. We're getting some activity now, some more throws, triggering our EMF. So we're left with Phantom, Banshee, Yuri, Oni, Yokai, Raiju, Deogen. Now, a Oni is a ghost that really doesn't like the presence of players in its ghost room and will do events more often than any other ghost. Seeing that this ghost has not done a single event yet, even at our reduced sanity, we're still looking for our 2 other pieces of evidence. We don't have writing yet. I'm going to recheck our temperatures here. It does say 9. That could mean that the ghost is now moving to another room. So I'm going to keep bouncing around and look at that. We have breath in another room now, and it is much colder here. I'm going to protect myself by grabbing a cruci and prioritize that. So 1's now in the room. I'm going to grab this second one, and we're not going to do too much of an overlap, but what we're going to do is place it outside. That way, if the ghost decides to be spawning in here or, you know, maybe hallway, this also adds an extra layer of protection without doubling down on one specific spot. Move some stuff into the room here. Maybe retry Spirit Box. Nope, not getting Spirit Box. And we don't want to dilly-dally too much longer than that, most likely. Let's head back down, check our sanity levels, because at this point, I would feel a little weary of a hunt possibly happening with the ghost remaining. All right, so to check our sanity, we're looking at 51, which does track for how much activity started to occur. 50 is kind of that breaking point for a lot of the ghosts to begin to be able to hunt. We still need 2 more pieces of evidence. We got one of our side objectives accomplished while we were up there. I'm gonna pop a sanity pill at this point. We're going to watch the sanity go all the way up. We're chilling at around 80. So just by taking 1, you can see how much sanity you boost yourselves. If I took 2, I would pretty much be back to full sanity. So let's get a camera onto a tripod, grab UV, and then head back on up there. Oh, and I'm also going to grab a smudge just in case we overdo our stay. EMF is still talking to us. Okay, let's turn on our camera. We're going to plop it down right here. Sometimes I like to just pick it up off of it to look manually through, and we are getting ghost orbs. Awesome. So that's our second piece of evidence. Those floating white dots on the screen are your ghost orbs. Much easier to see when all lights are off and no dots are in the room, for example. That's why I also kind of left these out here for the time being. With the tier 3 flashlight, one of my favorite things to do is to turn this thing on, and then I look straight up completely and throw the flashlight. So that's going to illuminate a surface like a door. You could do it in adjacent rooms too, but basically passively illuminates just in case a handprint shows up on that side. Let's recheck temperatures here, see if we got freezing. We're at 1.725. This thermo's been up here for quite some time, so I might be confident and say probably not freezing. With 3 pieces of evidence available, you can safely cross off evidence if you are repeatedly not getting it. I would never do that on Nightmare mode, and that is just because on Nightmare, where only 2 show up, 1 is being hidden, it is not necessarily not part of that ghost's set. So with that freezing crossed off, that leaves us with Banshee, Yokai, and Raiju. The Yokai, what sets the Yokai and the Raiju apart is the fact that the Yokai really despises players talking in the ghost room or in the presence of the ghost itself. It will actually agitate it more and cause the Yokai to perform more events, and increases the chance of it hunting you, in fact. The Ridgeview is one that's connected to electricity. It has a heightened range for disturbing electronics that you're holding or that are placed, and also will siphon that electrical energy and increases its speed during a hunt. At this stage, we can focus on getting rid of our side objectives. One is going to be repel the ghost with incense while it's chasing someone. So we know that for this perfect investigation, we need for it to hunt at some point. We'll probably do this one last, but get an average sanity below 25 just means so we won't be taking any more sanity pills. We're sitting at a nice cool 64%, just over the threshold at which most ghosts can hunt. So we got maybe a few more minutes of time in the dark in there. Before I head into the house, I'm going to grab a camera to fill up our photo book, the remaining salt, and we're going to head back up there. Keeping in mind that we are at 64% sanity, so we don't have a ton of time to mess around, but we can quickly place this down, snap some photos along the way of our 3 stack here, place the rest in the ghost room itself as a 6 stack. I'm going to recheck temps to make sure that it is still in here. It is. We're still not getting freezing, which does align perfectly with our elimination and deduction here. We got our step, which is awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that will bring us up to an entirely full book aside from 1 photo slot. Now, finally getting our last piece of evidence. It's right here on the door. Let's snap that quickly before it fades. That will be our final photo, and that means it is UV. So with our last piece of evidence, it is going to be a Banshee. This means what we were seeing before, the ghost was not in fact in this room to begin with. It had just been roaming around. Admittedly, my reading of this room was wrong. So we have all 3 pieces of evidence. Ultraviolet, ghost orbs, dots. Whoa, the ghost just attempted a hunt on us, but thankfully, since we did plan ahead, we are completely safe. With that burn, we have a remaining total of 3 burns left, since both can carry 2. Ghost is starting to event a lot more frequently on us, which makes sense for our falling sanity. We're probably riding around somewhere in the mid-40s at this point. And it did kick the ghostwriting book too. That also confirms it will not be ghostwriting on professional mode and below. With our sanity plummeting down to a really dangerous level, I'm gonna head back out. For a perfect investigation, you need to acquire the bone, but you don't necessarily have to do anything with the cursed object. So let's strap ourselves with 2 smudges at this stage. We got our last side objective, which was drop our sanity below 25%, and now we are ready for this ghost to hunt us and repel it to close it out. All aside from getting that bone. The bone search, I do recommend grabbing something to illuminate the area, whether that's your headgear or a lantern in your hand. I do prefer the lantern, to be honest with you, because I feel like it is far too easy to forget that you have a headlight on and not notice it. I'm going to keep my headlight off for now. We're going to walk around. That's cool. Ouija board would have been an easy free photo too. We're going to look for this bone and trust that our crucifixes are protecting us. Thankfully, they can't appear inside like drawers like so, but they can appear in strange areas like bathtubs, trash cans even, sometimes on chairs or beds. So I don't see anything really on the first floor from our initial sweep. I could have missed it. I'm going to head down to the basement, and then finally we'll check up that upstairs. All the while we're doing this, we're making sure our eyes and ears are definitely tuned in, just in case we hear that ghost start stomping around and is running amok. That would be pretty fun. Oh. That's a hunt, so I'm just going to stay calm, smudge, walk through the ghost. I can start my smudge timer. One of the most reliable places to hide safely is right next to this fridge, so I'm going to tuck myself here. Alright, so at 36 seconds, we know the ghost hunt is most likely over. They don't typically last for much more than 25 seconds unless they're affected by a cursed item or other conditions, depending on how big the map is as well. Oh, I do hear the ghost walking around. Let's see if we can get away with just chilling here. Nope. Ghosty's gonna say hi to us. I'm smudging it, restarting our timer. Hiding right here by piano. And the piano, in fact, brought us to the bone, which is amazing. There it is, guys. So here's one instance of what the bone could look like. We're gonna grab the bone. We're gonna recheck that everything is complete. All side objectives are done. All pictures are 3 stars. We have our ghost guess, and the bone, like we said, has been acquired. Amazing. Let's lock in Banshee and see how we did on case 11856 with Anthony Gacy here. Banshee it is, guys. Thanks for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below.